Okay, I'm just gonna start this by reading a comment that just kind of makes me laugh. No offense to you for saying this, but you're basically unrecognizable from the first few videos that I followed you on. You were excited to be a pilot, and now you are fully inked up, and you don't look like a pilot at all. Not that it is a bad thing, but I wouldn't really want to fly with you. If you are so busy worrying about how much you don't want to be a pilot anymore, I wish you well. If you really want a question, then my question would be, what made you stop wanting to be a pilot and change your YouTube channel name? And also, what is your dream for this channel? I was following you initially because it was interesting to see the life of a new pilot. Okay, first, let's just go line by line and address this. I was very excited to be a pilot. I am one now, so the excitement for becoming a pilot changes once you already become one, because you already are one, so you're not looking forward to it because you already accomplished it. You literally have crossed the finish line, so you don't need to look at the finish line anymore. Fully inked up. I've had this piece since I was 21 years old. It's always been there. 1 versus 3. That literally has nothing to do with my physical capability and mental capability of flying a plane. A lot of pilots have tattoos. I don't know. I never once said I didn't want to be a pilot anymore. Sue me for having a 6-month crisis of hating COVID like everybody else did, being bummed out. I never didn't want to be a pilot. So to address your question, what made me stop wanting to be a pilot? Nothing. I never didn't want to be a pilot. It just wasn't fun for a while. The career and the job that goes along with literally just flying a plane, that's what was sucking. I wasn't less into an aircraft. I wasn't less into aviation. I wasn't less into travel. I wasn't less into talking to passengers. All those things that made the job less fun was because I wasn't able to travel, wasn't able to connect with passengers as much anymore. Being a pilot is different than being an airline pilot. That's a specific job in the aviation career, in the aviation field. What made you change your YouTube channel name? The fact that I'm legally changing my name. My channel name was always Rachel Dutch. And then instead of Rachel, I used a nickname instead of Rachel. It's still me. My dream for this channel, I don't feel like I need to address this because this is not like reality TV that you pay for. I don't do this to make money. I don't do this to please you. I do this because when I was an aspiring pilot, I couldn't find somebody like me out there sharing their experience. I wanted some insight into what it was like at work for somebody who wears makeup, brings more toiletries, likes to do other things besides fly, likes to geek out about other things besides aviation. So I didn't find somebody that felt like me, that I resonated with. Nobody was really inspiring me. My goal with the channel has already been met, and then some. And every day it keeps being met because I get to personally talk to people that are looking at the airlines as a viable career choice. I get to share so that they don't feel alone, so that they can figure out if it's the right career for them. And literally the point of this video was that I wanted to ask people, what are you worried about? What are you nervous about looking forward to being an airline pilot? What questions are you trying to figure out before you make that choice? Because I was there and I didn't have anybody to ask. So I'm literally just trying to share what I've done and what I feel. And part of the life of an airline pilot is that you have a personal life, you have hobbies, you travel, you have relationships, you have families. That goes along with the lifestyle that I live. I'm not trying to share that side of my life to say, hey, this is how you should be packing your bag. This is how you should be traveling to Amsterdam. This is how you should be going to a restaurant I went to in Oceanside. I'm literally just sharing because it's fun to share, but I enjoy watching when people share. Lastly, it was interesting to see the life of a new pilot, and that's why you were following me. Yeah, I'm not a new pilot anymore, so if you don't want to follow me, that's totally fine. Good riddance. Have a pleasant day. The end on that. Welcome to this video. Anybody who wants to be here. I am on a work trip right now. I need to address it because I just addressed it already. My last name is changing. It's already been legally changed to a certain extent. Felt like because I brought it up in the last video about how I was going to get my passport changed, it was time for a refresh. It's also because I feel refreshed. This 2021 me is a refreshed me. I did not legally change my first name and the new last name, Volare. That is our new family last name. You can ask all the questions you want, but I'm not going to address them right now. Hi, I'm Rachel Dutch, Ray Volare, Ray Dutch, Rachel Volare, all of the above. And I'm an airline pilot. That's for if you're new here. Otherwise, you know my face, you know my ink. Welcome back. Let's go on to the things that I wanted to answer in this video. I asked in my last little snippet video, my little short, for you guys to send me questions, what you are wondering about looking forward to an airline pilot career. If that's even on the horizon for you, if you're thinking about it, if it's a possibility, or if you're just curious. I want to answer those questions because that's kind of the epitome of what I wanted to do with this channel. So here we go. Steve asks, can a career change to aviation be made at age 47? Why the fuck not? Excuse my language. Yeah, you can start an aviation career at age 47. You can end an aviation career at 47, but you'll need to get the experience before the airlines will entertain you. For me, it took 4 years from zero time to the airlines, but people like my husband, Alex, he did a year and a half, which is like psychotic to me. And then you retire from the airlines at 65. You could have a full second career. Carrie commented, my son has just graduated college and has always been very interested in aviation. His plans were to head to flight school right after college. He has now decided to go the general aviation route since he was able to land full-time employment pertaining to his degree. In your opinion, do you think he's doing the right thing? Note, you would think it was silly that I'm sending you this, but I respect your opinion so much. Thank you. I appreciate you asking. Are you saying that instead of getting a job, he was going to go to like a full flight school, but then now he's got a job, so he's doing GA to learn his private license? I think that's what you're saying. I would need more information to kind of, help out. But the first thing that comes to my mind is like, he's doing the right thing if it's the right thing for him. I know that's like a totally messed up answer. I think he's doing the right thing if he needs to work, needs to make an income. It might be slow going to get his ratings, right? But if it gets to the point where he's too distracted by work to get his ratings, then he's gonna have to make a choice to like forego his aviation career as a pilot maybe to focus on that full-time job. Depends on how badly he wants to get to the airlines, if that's what his goal is. Comment back on your comment and maybe give me some more detail, and then we can comment back and forth and I'll try to help out more. But I was trying to figure out what you were saying because I just don't understand the situation too well. Hopefully it helped. All right, Samantha says, I'm currently attending Embry-Riddle and I'm working on my private pilot license. What do you recommend I start doing to prepare for a career in the airlines? And what tips do you have for after graduation? This experience that you're on right now, this journey, is not the one I had, so my opinion totally could be way off base. A career in the airlines is hard to prepare for when you're at the private pilot level. This kind of sucks as an answer. I think you just need to focus on what you're doing in the moment, because I just don't think that you need to worry about the future, because I know how intense it is to go through all those different ratings at that level, and you're at Embry-Riddle, so you're working on your degree. Literally don't worry about the airlines, because that all is like, it's full on little bucket. They put you through training. You can literally worry about it later. For graduating from Embry-Riddle, my understanding is that when you graduate, you've got at least your commercial ratings, possibly your instructor ratings. I'm not sure if you're going to get a job right away instructing with Embry-Riddle, but if you have a choice, that's still what I would choose. I think instructing is so valuable. It helps you grow as a pilot. It helps you work in communication with another pilot, because that's exactly what the airlines are going to do. ATP actually, like looking back, they did a really good job of mimicking some of the things that the airlines did when it comes to like checklist usage, and they sent us on these crew cross countries for the instrument phase, where it was like time building, and you would go with another student like around doing cross country flights. So the way that they teach you how to trade off being the pilot flying versus the one that's like reading checklists and doing the radios, that's exactly how it is in the airlines. I'm not sure every flight school is going to do that. However, that's what prepared me in my mind, but I didn't realize until I got there. So instructing, I still think is a really good way, because if you do something like traffic watch or banner towing, which those are things I know because I'm in Southern California, if you do stuff like that that's single pilot, you're going to get a totally different experience, really good experience, single pilot. Never wanted to do that. But the airlines is about teamwork. It is all about crew communication, not just between the pilots, but with your flight attendants and everybody being on board with the verbiage for this and the protocol for this, and dealing with gate agents and dealing with rampers, dealing with operations, dealing with your company. It's like a lot of teamwork. So literally any just flight experience job that is going to offer that for you is going to be a good experience. I mean, there's also options like if you can get a job with like a charter company, you're going to get a great experience that's very similar to the airlines, routes and customers, bags. You might even be doing some flight attendant duties. But you might also be your own dispatcher. They like file our flight plans for us and do calculations for us. It's like they are the third leg in this equation. As far as preparing for the career in the airlines, I would say don't worry about it when you're a student. Once you graduate and now you're looking for like a pilot job. All right, Jonathan asks, how easy or difficult is it getting a base that you want? I'm from Jersey, so ideally I'd want to be based out of Philly or Newark or JFK. What is the pay like as a CFI? Would I be able to live? Okay, I'm going to go question by question. Totally depends on your airline. It's kind of hard to answer because every airline has their junior or senior bases, and there's no real reason to the madness. It's based on where the pilot group retires, basically. For our airline, Los Angeles, it might be changing now. For the past couple of years, it's always been like a decently senior domicile because the people didn't want to transfer out. Now, Chicago was very junior, and a lot of people would go there right after training, but not as many people live there, I think. So every airline is going to be different. So when you're hunting for an airline, that's the time to look at their domiciles, and some of them will give you the information about like how junior their most junior person is at each domicile, so you can kind of gauge which ones are their junior ones. You can also probably reach out to one of their departments maybe, and then they could give you a better idea. Or when you're interviewing, then you can ask them, you know, what domiciles they have and which ones are junior. But I really don't know because I only know my airline. What's the pay like as a CFI? Totally depends on the company. ATP, they kind of eased the pain by providing housing for you at a very cheap cost as a CFI. So I was paying like $300 a month. We were living basically in like a crash pad, so there were 2 twins per room. But other places as instructors, I've heard from peers that they paid really, really well. So you got to just kind of do your hunting as a CFI. Would I be able to live off it, or would I need a second job? That depends on how often you're going to be instructing. So there's some flight schools that are kind of small, and you might just pick up a student here or there, or like say the students are hobby flying and they're not really going fast, you know, then there you might be only instructing a few hours a week, and you would definitely want to supplement that income, I would say. Even if you could get like a night job somewhere, because you're not going to be instructing in the night as often as in the day. But with like ATP, we were instructing 5 to 7 days a week. I lived off it though, but it was because I was paying only $300 a month for rent. How much money should you have saved up before starting training? Well, it depends on your financial way of paying for flight school. So like if you're doing a student loan, I mean, if you did your own calculation of how much your expenses are per month, if you weren't going to be able to make any money during flight training, then that's a kind of a personal question. So I don't know what you need to spend your money on to save. If it's only food that you need to be spending money on, and like somebody's putting you up in housing, or it's factored into your loan or something, then calculate your food costs for like a month and then extend it out for your training period. Depends on a lot of things. You have a BS in astrophysics. Damn. Would that be helpful for the ATPL theory classes? Probably. You might even be overqualified. I never took ATPL theory classes because I do not have my degree, and I didn't go to like a 141 school, which is where you're getting like your degree and flight training. I didn't go to Embry-Riddle, didn't go to ASU. I did the pilot mill of ATP. I've got my random general ed classes under my belt. I would say most likely, yes, your bachelor's in astrophysics is gonna be helpful for being a pilot and knowing things. But I can't say because I'm uneducated in that sense. All right, Andrew says, would love to know your thoughts on the job market for a CFI, if you'd go to ATP or a local flight school. Ooh, so I can only talk about my experience, obviously. I know that there's some like bad blood with ATP and some people. I experienced it as well, whatever. But it really did the job. I knew I could mostly count on stable flying and they could guarantee me that I would at least have a certain amount of students. Now, every ATP location might be different based on the demand that they have in that city or whatever. I was in Southern California where most of the time it was sunny enough and we didn't have to worry about certain geological or weather related issues. Yeah, ATP worked for me. I thought about leaving ATP when I was there, not necessarily to instruct anywhere else, but I thought about going to a charter company. But then I realized I was going to take time off to go learn another aircraft, do another training event, and I was going to not be guaranteed a certain amount of hours per month. ATP was doing their best to guarantee a certain amount of hours per month instructing with the students. Because I didn't want to end up at a charter forever, I wanted to get to the airlines. Instructing at ATP was going to be the fastest way, so I stayed instructing. So, Zach, what would have a better quality of life for a family? 135 operations or 121 operations? As far as average time away from home. You guys are asking like questions that about jobs and stuff that I don't do. So I can only imagine. Now, every 135 operation is going to be completely different. 121, which is airline, 121 is pretty consistent across the board. There's small changes with policy, like company policy or scheduling policy among all the different airlines. I have a decent amount of flexibility. 135, because every company is so different, I honestly have no idea how they manage your schedule. I just don't know. My impression of 135 operations in the past was that the airlines were more routine and stable and consistent, and then 135 had like its ebbs and flows, but that I could be totally off. If somebody else knows, please like comment back and explain better, because I don't know anybody that does 135, so I can't really talk about it with much knowledge. I have control over my schedule. There are certain companies that also only do local trips, so you can be home every night. I think that's like Allegiant. I don't know other airlines that offer that, but some of them, that is their policy and that's their thing, is that you're home every night. I think doing corporate flying, if you have the specific type of job with the specific person that you were flying around, then that might offer you a lot of time at home, but it also might offer you a lot of time on the road where you're getting jerked around, you have no idea where you're flying next or when you're flying next. Are there airlines other than Allegiant? I could keep reading. Are there airlines other than Allegiant that try to get you home every night? The only one I know of is Allegiant. I think actually, something's ringing a bell. I think possibly Hawaiian on the 717, I believe they do the island hopping on the 717, and I'm pretty sure you're home every night there. That might be an option. Seniority does come with the ability to bid for better schedules, and you assume that you'll live in a base to get the most home time possible. Yes, that's my goal, is to get the most home time possible right now, so I feel you. Also, would getting a type rating on my own help to be more competitive with a 121, like it could be with 135? No, let the company pay for it. When I was going through, I was at my instrument phase, and that was the year that they were changing the rules, and you had to go to CPT course, CTP? CTP. And you had to go get a CTP like course paper and then go get your written exam for the ATP check ride. Before that, it was different, right? And there was like a new hour requirement changing, and like people were telling me like, oh, go, if you can, go like memorize the questions, take the ATP written, because it's good for 2 years, because if you don't already have it, then you're gonna have to go to a CTP course and it's gonna cost you like $1,200 or something crazy. And I was like, honestly, I'm studying for my instrument right now. I cannot focus on that. Good thing I didn't though, because by the time I got to the airlines, it literally was like red carpet, like, please come. They paid for the CTP course. They hosted the CTP course. They did the most to get us there. So I would say do not try to get a type rating on your own to be competitive with 121. As you're entering at the regional level, they really look to you as a person, what you're going to bring to the flight deck. Are you a kind person? Are you a competent person? Are you easy to get along with? The opposite of that, are you a total asshole? So your personality and your charisma, your character means a lot. At my time, the experience was their bare minimum. I'm thinking that in the next couple of years, that pilot shortage is going to be like going haywire, because companies are already hiring again. There's classes for certain companies starting tomorrow. So it's coming back. It's happening. David, currently in the final stages of my commercial license. Congratulations. Made it so far already, and I love to fly, but struggling to find motivation to keep flying and studying. Yes. Hate to say, but feels like a chore sometimes. Is it just me, or have you had similar thoughts before? Yes. I think it's part of being human. I think it's part of being a student. I struggled with it because I felt like I wasn't allowed to lose motivation because a lot of the people around me were like real big aviation nerds. So yes, definitely have had some similar thoughts, but you are so close to the end. If everybody else can do it, you can do it too. And you are so much stronger than you think. So find that inner gut and just hold on. Do it. Just do it. Antique Lemon. Hey, I'm currently working on my private pilot license while attending college to get an associate's degree in aviation. Would it be better to complete a BA before attending flight school such as ATP, or getting the experience and fulfilling the requirements first be better? So my route, I chose a certain pathway regarding this, exactly this. I'm not saying it's the exact right way to do it, but it got me here and it worked out for me so far. I was doing some college, right? Minding my own business, realized this is not helping me. Oh, let's go be a pilot. So I went and I chose to do the ATP program because I knew that I could do a degree in anything else. The airlines didn't care that it was an aviation degree, and they still don't. Having a degree in literally anything is a check mark to them most of the time. Not saying that you can't have an aviation degree or that you shouldn't. Not at all. I wanted to be able to study something else and enjoy something else as well. So I went and got my training and experience separately. Long story short, if I were in your shoes, I would finish your associate's degree, go to flight school, get the experience, because if I'm right at all with like this pilot shortage is going to come again, it'd be better to be ready for that and get in on the ground floor, because all the people that they're going to be hiring in a frenzy are going to pad your seniority below you. So it's going to help you get past the crappy reserve phase a lot faster. If you're strong enough to put your head down and finish your degree, like your bachelor's degree online, then get the experience, get to the airlines. I know at least one really rad school that is perfect for aviation people because you can finish online at your own pace. You don't have deadlines for your classes. That's what I would do. What's it like having visible tattoos as a pilot in the airlines? Literally no biggie, because they're visible to you right now because I'm in a sports bra, but they're not visible in my work shirt. The only thing is that I have to wear the long sleeve shirts because this puppy goes down to my forearm, and this one would go below, like most likely where the short sleeve shirt goes. So I just wear the long sleeve shirts. It would be nice to be able to wear the short sleeve ones, but it's like no big deal because I want to have tattoos and I want to have more tattoos. So accepting the fact that I wear my long sleeve shirts all the time, now I'm like, I just freed up all of this space for more ink, like all the way up to here if I want to. Ethan, I'm newly CPL, I'm newly commercial pilot license with an instrument rating in airplane single engine land, just for those who don't know these codes. My dream is to get on with Envoy or any of the American Eagle carriers. It's very specific. Everyone I meet tells me that I need to get my CFI, but I'm in the group of pilots that have no motivation or want it at all. With the climate of the aviation industry, it's really hard to find small-time jobs at roughly 260 total time flight hours. What's your thoughts, and how do you think it's feasible to get to all the correct requirements that airlines like without going the CFI route? P.S. Still yet to score my first aviation job. So I'm not as familiar with the job market outside of the airlines anymore because I used to keep more up-to-date track of it when I was an instructor because I was hunting for a different job at the time, testing out the waters, if you will. I totally understand that it's hard to find small-time jobs right now with what's going on with COVID affecting everything. The first thing that comes to mind is charter, because I know that charter and corporate didn't get hit the same way that the airlines did. And I've flown with a lot of people they have friends that work in that industry, and they've said it's just taken off. However, what I found is that a lot of the charter companies actually required more flight time than the airlines did. One other idea is relocating. Might not be your favorite idea, but if you can relocate to a location that has a different type of flying market. Southern California is all I know for the most part, but Southern California had a lot of traffic watch options as well as banner towing. Now, those types of things I can't really imagine took a huge hit with COVID, or if anything, they're bouncing back right now. That's something easy that you can do 6 hours a day because you're doing 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening, and you get to wear your pajamas. The other thing I could think of possibly is cargo. I don't know the actual company names that do the cargo flying. Online shopping has been real this last year, right? So cargo flying, just like charter flying, have not been hit like the airlines at all. So cargo flying, if anything, is even better than it used to be. So I would look into that. Josh says, is it possible without a degree? Yes, it is. I don't have one. Now going to the majors, different story. It's a little harder without a degree. It can be done. I'll let you know if it happens for me. Randy was working on my private pilot license when COVID hit. Damn, that sucks. Stopped my lessons at around 30 hours. Damn, that sucks. Waited to get vaccinated to go back. A year later, I'm vaccinated, but I'm talking myself out of it. No plans to do anything but recreational flying, which I've wanted to do for many, many years. How do I get over my hump? Two things. One, still do recreational flying. At least you still want to keep flying and be amongst aviation. If you're saying that you want to get over your hump, meaning you want to find your motivation to go back to like training to possibly go to the airlines, first thing that comes to mind is possibly reminding yourself of why you wanted to do it in the first place. Why did you want to learn to fly in the first place? If you can tap back into that, that's what I would do probably to help myself get over my hump. Also, change something, because being stagnant and comfortable and complacent, that's a recipe for boredom and a lack of motivation, at least for me. So if you could change something, if you do something to kind of shake it up, change it up, shift something around. Okay, this video is getting really, really long, so I'm gonna cut it short right here. I have other questions that I want to answer though, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a part 2 to this experience. So if you liked my spiels, then thumbs it up. If you didn't, you can thumbs it down if you like. If you have other questions, then please leave comments down below. I literally read every single comment, even the rude ones, so just share with me, because I like sharing with you. I love hearing from you guys. Not to mention, let's rewind, that video I posted about questioning my aviation career. I was brought to tears with the response that I got from everybody. You guys were so kind and left so many nice comments, so many reassuring comments. I was just so moved by the kind words from everybody. It was so sweet, you guys. I love you, and thanks for sticking around. Stay tuned for round 2 of this, and I'll keep answering more questions, more qualms, more queries about the future for your fellow viewers. Thanks again for watching, and okay, bye.